This is Money, Motivation, and Mike, and I am your host, Michael Wainwright. In charge of all the controls is engineer Jason Wright. And hello to you, world. This is the show that will change your life. You can contact us at info@mx3.vip or and find all of our content at mx3.vip or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@mx3podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified of all of our new content, which comes out every Monday morning around 9 o'clock. Okay, Jason, the Thanksgiving holidays are over with, and I know we're marching towards not only Christmas but the New Year. But we got a couple of things here we need to discuss, and actually the big matter of money, motivation, and Mike is one of the big parts. There is the money part, and as we come up here on the end of the year, it is a great time to be trying to figure out what your goals are going to be financially moving into 2025 and how you're going to accomplish this. So I've got a couple of good things here, and it's also going to be based around a financial advisor when it's all said and done. And then as we close, Jason, I have got to touch on this President Biden pardon of his son Hunter. All right. Baby boomers and Generation Z. Now, baby boomers and Generation Z agree that they need a salary of around $125,000 a year to be happy. Now, I want you to think about that. Baby boomers up to Generation Z. That's decades of people who frankly know how to work. And they only need $125,000, they feel, on an annual basis to bring happiness into their life. Millennials right now are 23 to 28 years old. They say they need $526,000 a year to bring happiness into their life. I find that astounding.
How many mansions they need?
How many boats can they ski behind?
Mm-hmm. They need a yacht.
And I'm sarcasm. They need $526,000 a year. That's what the article says. But they don't ever want to leave their house. Most of them don't know how to pick up a hammer and hit a nail. And I know that's my opinion, but it's also some factual stuff involved as well. The debate on whether money can buy happiness isn't new. But when you throw in the views of different generations, like we're talking about, and also with those generations, have you ever heard of the silent generation, Jason?
I have not.
Those are people born between 1928 and 1945. It would right now be considered our elder statesmen, and I guess they're silent. They have wildered off into the great world of paradise, and they are silent. But as we saw in a couple of our episodes in the past, they still make up a great number of the voters that are educated in the United States of America when it comes to a presidential election. The different generations, it gets interesting. And is it possible to put a price tag on happiness? What percentage do you think of people, think that money can buy happiness in the United States of America right now?
I think the majority of them, probably 70, 80%.
59%. It was a majority. 59%. By the way, this article is coming from Money Pickle. 59% of the people believe that money does buy happiness. Now, there are obviously extreme variations between the boomers and the millennials about what that magic number is on an annual basis. Here we go. I would love a millennials, several, come online here with us and explain to us how to make $526,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Frankly, I challenge them to come on here and explain to me how you can make $125,000 a year. But the door is open for any millennial. Jason will set it up, and you can call into the show, and we'll just have you over the phone, over the wavelengths. Please get with us and figure out how you can explain to us how to make these type of large amounts of money and why it takes $400,000 more dollars a year for a person from 23 to 26 than it does a baby boomer who has been around for going on 6 decades.
Yeah, I want to know what that money's going to make you happy.
Well, like you said, maybe a couple mansions. So, according to a recent Empower poll, the average American believes they need $1.2 million in the bank to experience the full spectrum of happiness, financial happiness. Average American, $1.2 million. Well, according to my calculations here, the $526,000, and then you go out here and pay your tax, the millennial can have $1.2 million in the bank in 3 years, Jason, because a lot of them still live at home. So they don't have any bills.
Mm-hmm.
They are interested in Uber Eats and Uber delivery service, including themselves, that don't seem to be real interested in a car and a house. Or maybe they do. I have heard that they can't afford a house. Them interest rates are high. You locked yours in at 2.9.
Inflation.
$526,000, kids. I can assure you, you can afford a house.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the house you want. Maybe not a $7 million mansion sitting down there on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, but you can afford a house. So please, come on. $1.2 million in the bank, and I'm going to discuss that here in my next topic here in just a second. But baby boomers, for instance, estimate their annual income needs to be just $124,000 to achieve happiness. And the millennials, $526,000. Approximately 73% of the survey participants acknowledge that a well-constructed financial strategy is critical for achieving a sense of security. 73%, virtually 3/4 of the people who live in this country believe they need a financial plan to receive well-structured financial happiness. How many of you think have a plan?
About 25%.
Less than 20%.
Wow.
But 73% think you need a plan. That's virtually 50%, Jason, that know they need to do something and don't take any action.
That's right.
What is going on out here? And now you've got 3 weeks to get your plan together. We're going to talk about some financial stuff here momentarily. Nearly half of the respondents feel they lack the necessary advice to effectively chart their financial futures. So, highlighting the opportunity of finding a professional financial advisor to play a pivotal role in guiding your individual success in the financial world is necessary. But for some reason, 50% of us don't go out here and take advantage of it. We know we need to do it. I mean, it's kind of like, hey, we know you need to eat today. So why do you find time to eat? You know you need to go to the restroom. See, does it not come on you when you need to go to the restroom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your body tells you need to go to the restroom.
Yep.
So you go. Your body should be telling you need to get into some financial planning so you can figure out what to do next year, whether it's $100 a month or $10,000 a week. You got to find a way. Why is your mind or your body not putting that kind of pressure on you to get control of your finances? Why do you want to be at this point next year where you are right now? Can you guess how many Americans successfully retire with $1 million in the bank? Any thoughts?
It's a very low percentage. I would be surprised at 10%.
Well, as I've talked about on this show a gazillion times, and we'll always talk about it on this show because I love numbers and I love statistics, etc. 21% have $1 million.
All right.
Now, the average 65-year-old in the United States has less than $2,500 in the bank. But 21%, this is according to Fidelity, and their numbers last year with their retirement analysis.
I don't know how people make it with $2,500 in the bank.
They don't. That's why they continue to work.
Yeah.
Yes. Fidelity, their retirement analysis, approximately 12% of 401k participants and 9% of IRA participants have reached or exceeded $1 million mark. Now, once again, 21% doesn't sound very good, but when I read this particular line, and by the way, this is coming from Jeannie Maxini. She wrote this article about personal finance and investments. Been doing it for quite some time, but and obviously got a hold of her Fidelity retirement analysis. But think about this again: only 12% of 401k participants and only 9% of IRA participants have it reached or succeeded the $1 million mark. Now we go back over here that the baby boomers think that 1.2 million would make them financially happy. Now, the reason I point this out is 401k plans and IRAs really hit their stride during the baby boomer time. From, this is say from the 1950s over the last 75 years. And remember, 401k plans, IRAs, invented and sponsored and tax deduction by the federal government. Now, once again, what this tells you right here is that the 401k plan and the IRA participants, it does not work for financial success. We already know Social Security doesn't work. What are you going to do to retire? Because 88% of the 401k participants have not succeeded $1 million. And 91% of the IRA participants. You get an IRA because typically you're not eligible for a 401k plan. If you have a 401k plan, you're not eligible for an IRA. You've got to max out your 401k. And in most cases, a company will match part of your investment. So if you're not involved in a 401k plan at your workplace and they match, you're losing money. Because the moment you make a contribution to a 401k plan and your employer matches, you've made money that day. So that's your first thought right there, is that you need to be doing that. But this is also interesting. Everything we say on this show is interesting, by the way, Jason. Vanguard's advisors called an alpha study that working with a financial advisor can result in approximately a 3% higher return annually. I actually think that that's low. I would expect for a financial advisor to be able to make me more than 3% of what I could do on my own. I know these numbers are probably conservative, but nevertheless, a financial advisor is going to help you make more money than you can make on your own. And that's factual over the years of what's been going on. So benefits of having a financial advisor. Number one is your personal financial planning, setting it up to your needs. It's not a cookie cutter system. It is what is best for you, not what's best for the guy behind you or in front of you. Two, expert knowledge and insight. Obviously, they are experts in this field. They've done it for an extended period of time. The firms they work for have done it for a long time. They have insight on where you should have your money. And so number two, the expert knowledge and insight of a financial advisor, obviously a big deal. Now, here is interesting. Number three is the accountability and discipline. You ought to be able to get on a program where it automatically is deducted out of your check, or in an IRA situation, deducted out of your checking account, to where it's happening all the time. And that's where the accountability comes in, because most people are not disciplined enough to be able to write a check and make a contribution on a regular basis. So you need to find a way to get involved and get your money working for you. Accountability and discipline. And of course, the advisor, any good quality financial advisor, is going to continue to stay on you for that type of accountability. Number four, Risk management and diversification. You may think that going out and putting all your money in a penny stock is a great idea. Most financial advisors would tell you that it's not. And that's where the risk management comes into play. They've already have this figured out. And they have a lot of professionals behind them that are giving them advice to the financial advisor who's on the front line and working with their clientele. So risk management and diversification. Mutual funds, very diversified. Mutual funds. They go out and invest in 100 different companies in a mutual fund. So what that means, Jason, for you to lose all your money, virtually all 100 of those companies will have to crash at the same time. That's why a mutual fund is a good play. It minimizes your risk, get into risk management, et cetera, et cetera. That would be a fantastic thing. Now, you should, this is number 5, and we know that there's good and bad in every aspect of your life, including your preacher and your lawyer and your accountant and your banker, your insurance, your financial planner, your friends, good and bad. So, but the 5th item on finding a financial planner should give you peace of mind and confidence. That's why you need to do your homework. You're getting with someone who has longevity, who has been around, hopefully maybe even going on back to the late 2000s when we had the 2008 crash. I always think that that's of importance, where they have seen the ups and downs of the market and investments over time. But nevertheless, peace of mind and confidence is what you should get when you put your money with a third party, such as a financial advisor. So these are some of the things that you should be looking into here. And it's very difficult to do in December because of the holidays and family and friends and weekend gatherings going on, starting virtually right now and going through the end of the year. And if you don't get with it, you don't look up, you're going to be January the 2nd, and it won't be too late then, but why don't we get going here with a fresh start, starting here in the 1st of January. So in summary, working with a financial advisor offers personal planning, expertise, accountability, risk management, peace of mind. These are the benefits, some of the benefits of working with a financial planner. You need to find one near you. If you're looking for recommendations and referrals, please email me and I'll have some that I can send your way. You would also, I'm going to add one thing to that was not put into this particular article. I would want somebody that I could walk into their office at any time and be able to sit down and talk to them. Maybe not today, but they can make me an appointment and I can be in there tomorrow or the next day. You want to be able to walk in. And there is a whole lot of investing these days, Jason, that goes on online. And when you go online, to me, you lose that personal touch, no matter who you're with and whatever account you open up. And this stuff also goes back 25 years ago with the E-Trades of the world. And at once upon a time, 2 decades ago, I had an E-Trade account with very little money in it, and I ended up with less than I put in because I don't have the time to mess with it and figure out what's going on. You got to study and you got to do it every day. So just like with all of our episodes, and Jason, you pointed this out to me off the air, and I did not bring this up to start the show, so we're going to do it right now. First of all, our YouTubers, we went over 93,000. We're at 93,092 subscribers as of the recording of this show, not to include all the podcasters and listeners that we have. Our numbers continue to grow. 93,000, Jason, with roughly 3 shows left. We are eking in one of our goals, 100,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel before December the 31st. And we're going to be pushing it right there. Now, back to what I was saying about every one of our episodes. I always encourage you to contact us at info@mx3.vip. But you also can go down and comment below every episode we have, and your comments go out to every one of our subscribers. They can pull up that particular episode and they can see exactly how you feel. And you personal financial advisors, feel free to put your information out there right now and help out some of our viewers and listeners. Is that not the way it happens, Jason? Right below?
Yeah, just comment below, have a conversation, and we'd love to join in whenever we can.
Yes. And right now, here as we're in this fourth quarter, the end of this fourth quarter, the Bitcoins and the lithiums and et cetera, that those are large things that seem to be making some money, and a lot of people are endeavoring into that. I am not, but nevertheless, a lot of people are. And you need some financial expertise to help you go through those choppy waters and right on down the road. Okay, finalizing today's show. And I'm not going to look at it as a negative. I'm not going to look at it as a positive. I'm just going to give it out the way it has over the last couple of days hit our country, our world. And the reason I say the world is because many people, especially the United States of America, but many people view the President of the United States as the most powerful person in the world. And this last week, and this is an article from in NPR, actually written by three people, Luke Garrett, Ryan Lucas, and Kerry Johnson. And thank you for putting out this article. And then obviously it was all on the news from left to right and sideways and NBC, and that is President Biden's pardon of his son Hunter. And President Biden announced just this last Sunday that he had signed a full unconditional pardon of his son Hunter Biden. The pardon comes in the last weeks of President Biden's time in the office, and despite his public assurance in the past that he would neither pardon nor commute his son's sentence, Biden, quote, "I signed a pardon for my son, Hunter." Biden said from the White House statement, "It is clear that Hunter was treated differently." Just like he's being treated right now with his father, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
The pardon, first reported by NBC News, also comes less than 2 months before President Trump will return to the White House. Trump called Biden's pardon, quote, "such an abuse and miscarriage of justice," in his post. Trump asked if Biden's pardon would apply to people convicted of attacking the U.S. Capitol on January the 6th, 2021, as Congress was certifying the 2020 election, as we all remember. Trump said during his presidential campaign that one of his first acts of his second term would be to free hundreds of January 6th rioters. In June, President Biden promised not to pardon his son, as he said, quote, "I will not pardon him," after his son was convicted for 3 federal gun charges. Now, when he was convicted, Jason, all of the facts, obviously President Biden knows all the facts with his conversations with his son. He gets charged. These charges have taken place, and after the fact, he says he will not pardon him. 6 months later, he has decided that he was mistreated and basically sought out because he is the son of the President of the United States. And now I'm going to pardon my son, in the words, or have pardoned my son, in the words of the President of the United States, most powerful position in the world. I believe in the justice system, but I have wrestled with this. I also believe raw politics has infected this process and has led to a miscarriage of justice. End quote. What Biden said. Any thoughts?
Well, was it misjustice when they weren't prosecuting him because his last name was Biden? This goes back to 2014.
You can You can look at all those things. Was it going all the way back to Hillary Clinton and on and on and on. And even with Trump and impeachment and this and that and the other, was politics not involved, etc.
You know, you go, I don't know if it was the DOJ or the FBI, but they had the charges. They had the evidence, but they chose not to prosecute and let the statute of limitations expire. The
DOJ that Jason's referring to is the Department of Justice, for those who don't really necessarily know what those letters mean. Here is Hunter Biden's quote. "I have admitted and taken responsibility for my mistakes during the darkest days of my addiction, drug addiction, as I remember. Mistakes have been exploited to publicly humiliate and shame me and my family for political sport." End quote. Okay, so if you admit and take responsibility for your mistakes, you're subject to receiving a pardon. I mean, that's the way I read it. Come out and admit to your mistakes, take responsibility for them, and the president will pardon you from any of your criminal activity. Now, I think the viewers and listeners need to take this to the House and start writing their letters up there. And whether you're a Democrat or Republican, a green individual, don't even care what's going on in the political world, when the most powerful person in the world, President of the United States, has the power to pardon a person from a criminal act, that is major stuff. That's why pardons always, the bulk of them having at the end of the term, because the president doesn't want to feel the heat of what he or she has done. I know we haven't had a she yet, but we've had she's run for the office. They don't want to feel the heat for that 4 years, so they do it towards the end. So they do it, and they're out, and here comes the new news with the new president, and we're on down the road.
And it wasn't just one criminal act. It was a blanket, all criminal acts that occurred during that period.
Whatever has happened, it did not happen now, because he's been pardoned. You pull up his record, and it's not there. And I do consider it a level of abusing your power as the most powerful person in the United States, most powerful person in the world.
Well, the election is over, so he can do and say whatever he wants to get on his way out.
It's a good point. Why didn't we do this last June?
Mm-hmm.
When I was saying I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
And now here we are in December.
It didn't look good at that time.
Jason, have you thought of any Christmas presents that you might be asking for to the degree of being pardoned from your criminal activity?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that has as much value as that.
So anyway,
if I knew I could commit some crimes to, further myself and gain, and then know that, if it was a criminal act that I was going to be pardoned for it,
we'd all be out robbing banks, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Stealing from the blind. Whatever it is that floats your boat today.
Yeah. I mean, you got a president who is in office, and if any of his kids at this point commit a crime, he could pardon them right away. So they're free to do so.
I know there has been an extreme amount of pushback from the Democratic side to what he has done.
Well, he's made them all look like a fool.
And I think he's made himself number one, but I don't know that he cares.
Well, they were all out there just saying Biden is not going to pardon his son.
Yeah.
Well, they were repeating that, but that is what he was saying.
Yeah. I mean, they were just repeating what he said.
Yeah.
And why would they not be saying it?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's a thing of the past. So nevertheless, that's the way it is. And as was also wrote in this article of what Trump will do with some of the convictions from the January the 6th, 2021 riots on the nation's capital. Be interested. We'll follow that story. We'll give that information to you as we go. I'll be anxious to see what he does. I did see in some of his quotes that he will take it on a case-by-case basis.
As he should.
Yes, that's right.
There's a lot of people in jail right now that shouldn't be there for simply just walking in when you had security there with the doors open and just letting all these people in, but they didn't got a trespassing, felony or whatever the crime was.
Something to be said for being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's exactly right.
And that's just the way it is. Money Motivation Mike continues to bring you information, knowledge that we feel is very extremely uplifting, informative to you on a regular basis, and our numbers seem to tell that with the topics that we continue to go out and do. And like I said, you can go to the bottom of any of our episodes on our YouTube channel and make comments for the world to see. You also can contact me as you have in the past at info@mx3.vip. And of course, you can find all the content at mx3.vip and the YouTube channel being youtube.com/@mx3podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified of all the new content that Jason puts out every Monday morning around 9 o'clock. So number one, start thinking about your financial advisor and taking massive immediate action to get that done. And number two, continue to live your life the right way. Until next time.